in one of the interviews by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, he said General Sibiya was fired by the police. And the same police, when he came back, they received him well, and then within a year they promoted him. I don't know what special thing he has done that led to him being promoted. So, and that is what led to me putting this paragraph together, considering the fact that when he speaks, he talks about, and he will say, most of you South Africans have forgotten that in 2011, now the 2011 that he's speaking about, I was approached by by General Sibiya, who was the former head of the Hawks. At that time, he was a deputy of General Dramat, the deputy national head of the Hawks. I was the provincial head in Gauteng. He came to me in possession of a newspaper article and a file and said,
I'm not being critical of the content of what you are saying, but I think we'll save a lot more time if we just get on with it.
This section that I'm talking about my dismissal, is the same story that I'm explaining. In other words, I'm in my statement.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I was allocated a matter to investigate that involved the then head of the Divisional Commissioner of Intelligence, wherein there were allegations that he's involved in murder or kidnapping and fraudulent activities, corruption within the crime intelligence. Now, I was then approached by head office to conduct an investigation that I investigated. I formed a multidisciplinary team. I approached the NPA and they supported me with the investigators, with prosecutors, and we investigated. And then as we were investigating, we experienced a situation where we were all targeted and ultimately removed from the police. It was myself, General Sibiya, General Dramat, even also General Kele was a commissioner of the police at that time. We all found ourselves outside because of that investigation. And we all went to different courts. We came back at our own time, depending on when the labor court finalized your matter. In my case, I was not involved in the rendition completely because it was a head office operation. The people that were arrested of the Zimbabwean who killed a Zimbabwean, a police officer in Zim and then ran into South Africa. By crime intelligence at head office, they arrested all those people. And crime intelligence officials were given letter of commendations by their bosses for the job well done. But I was then later implicated to be the one who have given an instruction to arrest those people. So why it is important to mention this story is that what I went through at that time of the illegal rendition, ultimately finding myself out, commissioners, it was a shock in my life because it was the very first time I got suspended, very first time I dismissed for something I was not involved. And I also submitted a statement to the Zondo Commission at that time. Witnesses lied. The judges in the cases, they say, but it was all lies. And General Ntlemeza, who fired me, was actually found by the court to have been an unreliable person who lacked honor and integrity and was ultimately also removed and fired and his rank taken as a result of that. Now, I got back to the police because the court reinstated me. And then I started working. And I was, because of the fact that already a person was now appointed at Gauteng, there was now a General Kado was now appointed in Gauteng. I just said to to the police, to the National Commissioner, I don't mind to be placed anywhere. And then they said, okay, head office, organized crime component head of organized crime. I went there. I started pushing from organized crime side as a component head. I resuscitated the National Organized Crime Secretariat that deals with projects, wherein I said, we've got a lot of crime in the country. We've got organized crime, we've got commercial crime, we've got corruption in the municipalities. All I want you to do, I want to have a project in each and every sector that needs to be investigated. And I increased the project. When I came back, there were something like 27 projects to 74 projects, because every province, we call them every month to make sure that we have projects that are being registered in the respective environment that needs to be attended to. Be it drugs, drug cartel, taxi violence, whoever is involved, whether you're talking about all the environment where there is crime committed, especially that needs to be investigated in an organized fashion. We needed to open such projects. We did that. Then,
did these projects not already fall under some existing categories? I'm just trying to understand the need for increasing the number of projects.
The South African Police Service, is this how it functions, Commissioner, Chair? Is that the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation is meant to investigate serious organized crime, serious corruption, serious commercial crime, crimes against the state and others. Now, they've got a particular threshold where they will say we can only take from this threshold, let's say 500,000 upwards. But you've got a lot of corruption, you've got a lot of crime that is committed that actually falls within their mandate, but because it is of a lower scale, it must have organized crime also in the South African police that will look into that level 1 to 3, DPCI level 3 to 5, where they focus on now on other layers, including international layers. Now that's the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. So, from our side, we had to look into that. Where there is crime, where there's commercial crime, where you have illegal goods coming into the country, those were our responsibilities. But over and above, even though the DPCI is the one that must investigate according to their mandate, the National Commissioner is still responsible and accountable for crime in general throughout the country. He then will say, for an example, let me give an example of the cash in transit. The National Commissioner says, there's so many cash in transit that are taking place in the country, and I have to account as the National Commissioner. And if we only focus on the DPCI and say they are the one who are doing it, and then we are all affected, then he will call a meeting where all of us sit together with the DPCI and us working together. So that's how we will get involved interchangeably in some of the project, Chairperson.
All right, please continue.
Yes. So now, I was then back into the system, and I pushed from my side in terms of my responsibilities. Then in 2023, the 1st of July, I was then promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General by the National Commissioner. My responsibilities now was to oversee the operations and the work of both crime detection. I have 2 divisional commissioners reporting to me, which is Lieutenant General Kumalo of Crime Intelligence and also Lieutenant General Sintumule of Detective and Forensics.
Starting on what I think is in paragraph 16, maybe just complete that, even if it means reading that paragraph into the record.
Paragraph 16.
Yeah, 16.
In July 2023, I was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General and appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection. In this capacity, I assumed overall command of Detective and Forensic Science Laboratories and Crime Intelligence. My appointment to this position placed me at the forefront of shaping and directing the operational framework for crime detection in the Republic, ensuring the alignment of policing strategies and national priorities and international best practice. It also underscored the continued confidence of the SAPS in my leadership and my ability to drive systemic improvement in the fight against crime. I attach here to a copy of my curriculum vitae and marked SS1 for ease of reference. We've dealt with my curriculum vitae.
Yes, thank you.
The labor dispute I've dealt with. Although here I've mentioned pertinent issues that I would want to, I've mentioned, although I've run through the arrest and the illegal rendition, but there were some important comments that were made by the judges in my matter to show that I was not involved and I was unfairly dismissed and targeted, and there was political interference. And when I talk about political interference, later I will mention where there is still political interference in what I'm going through now. And at that point in time, I need to also make sure that if I don't get that point, I hope the evidence leader will be of assistance there. Paragraph 38. Alleged fraudulent claims. What I want to highlight specifically in relation to the alleged fraudulent claims, as the crime intelligence were attempting very hard to get me out of the system, they realized that the illegal rendition matter is not working because I was not involved, and they could see that even the courts were clearing me. At the same time, I went through the same process I'm going through now. They then introduced the illegal rendition of the fraudulent. They charged me for fraudulent kilometer claims. Now, the fraudulent kilometer claims that I was charged for, to give a short background, is that I had a car that I bought after I was promoted as a brigadier. And with the excitement, I went and I bought a BMW 330. It was a small car. But one day, a policeman was killed in Tembisa. And as the head of the Hawks, I had to attend the scene of crime. But that car was giving me challenges because the policeman was killed and left his body dumped on top of the mountain. So I could not go up there or deeper with the car because it was a very small car and it was struggling. Coming from that scene, I went straight to BMW where I bought the car and said, hey, where I work now, I'm expected to visit some of these things, and this thing is not really helping me. Then there was a Porsche Cayenne parked outside. It's a second-hand car, very old. Then the owner said to me, don't you want to test drive this car and maybe check how it is, if you like it? It was within the price range because it has 74,000 kilometers. So the car that I bought, it was more than that. Then he said, maybe test drive this Porsche Cayenne, you may like it. Well, it was the first time getting into a Porsche Cayenne. And then I test drove that car that day. As I was on the freeway and I was testing it, I enjoyed it. The next day I said, I'm taking this car. Then I was driving and driving and driving that Porsche, and it was beautiful, I liked it. Come the time when it had to go for service, because it was beyond 100, I said, no, it's still within the motor plan. I took it to Porsche, they fixed it, and it needed more than 30,000 rand. I said, yes, but it's within a motor plan, it doesn't complete at 100,000. They said, no. Porsche is not how it works. The motor plan doesn't go with the car, it goes with the owner. This car you bought, it's yours. You have to find a way of paying. I then went to BMW and said, but you didn't tell me that because this thing doesn't reach 100, I don't even get the motor plan. Now they say I must pay this thing, but you didn't tell me. And then he tried to speak to them, and the Porsche didn't agree. He then said to me, you know what? This Porsche is an expensive car. It's still going to give you challenges maybe here and there. Rather leave this thing. Go down there in the basement, look at the bigger cars, X5, X6, whatever that you may like, to the price range. Then I went down and I looked and I chose one X6 within the price. It also had more than 80,000 kilometers. When a car is at that level, it's affordable. I chose that X6. Now, as I was driving this car, both cars, as I was just driving it and then from there change to X6. Now they see different kilometer claims that I'm submitting. One moment is Porsche, one moment is this. Then they charged me for fraudulent kilometer claim. They said, I said I was driving a Porsche, but I was driving an X6. And then they charged me for that. Then the magistrate asked a question and said, all right, you say you're charging this man for driving an X6, but he claimed for the X6 instead of for the Porsche Cayenne. Then he said, okay, which one has got a bigger engine capacity? Only to find out the Porsche Cayenne was a 5-liter, and then the X6 was a lower. It was a 3.5 liter. Then the magistrate said, so you're charging him for shooting himself on the foot that he claimed lesser than what he was supposed to claim. Then they couldn't answer. Then the magistrate asked the prosecutor and say, why did you charge this man? The prosecutor says, into the court record, that record is still there. He says, I know there's no case and there was no case, but I was instructed to put the matter in the court roll. Now that's how the magistrate said, you are released. Then that's how I was acquitted in that case. That's the fraudulent kilometer claim issue. So it's one of those cases. Now, I have to go to allegations of high treason.
Before that, General, I think under this topic, there's information that I think is important to put on record. For completeness of what you are explaining. At paragraph 39, you speak about this from paragraph 38 up to 41. In paragraph 39, you do state that these charges that were finally brought against you were a product of a complaint or allegations by somebody. Maybe you need to put that on record. Paragraph 39?
Despite this, a criminal docket for fraud and corruption was later opened against me in March 2015, based on allegations made by Mr. Imran Bhatt, an individual implicated in organized crime and human trafficking, whom I have previously investigated while serving as head office of the Hawks in Gauteng.
So this person, Imran Bhatt, is a civilian? Or is a member of the police?
It's a Pakistani national who's involved in human trafficking.
Okay, but not a police officer?
It's not a police officer.
Okay, and then in paragraph 40, you say what period these allegations or this story about fraudulent travel claims relate to. Maybe you should put that on record, what period we are talking about. You do say in the first line.
I said, additionally, in February 2016,
yes,
I was arrested and charged with 5 counts of fraud. The charges were premised on the above fraud and corruption docket, as well as claims that I had corruptly acquired a BMW and had submitted fraudulent travel and petrol claims.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Unless you think the rest of it is important, you want to put it on record, but I just wanted the date to be on record.
Yes, and it also reminded me of the fact that they were actually alleging that this car was actually bought for me by a person who was supposed to have been charged for poaching. They said the money was paid by someone for me to buy this car. They then went, same crime intelligence went to BMW. I've got a whole file where they went and obtained statement to check how I procured or how I purchased the car. They found that from day one, I applied for finance. I paid the car, no deposit was ever paid, nor any other money paid into the bank or BMW. I've been paying for this car until I changed it.